All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Blake Moore, and this is my team.
Sarah Maxon, Sarah Leclerc,
Jenny Liu,
Melissa Ibanez, Tina Baruri.
And we're going to talk to you today about 5 ways to be authentic on Instagram. I want to thank you guys for coming out, and I truly hope that today you can learn something and learn how to apply it to your training session. But first, I want to tell you a quick story. In 2015, I posted this picture to my personal Instagram account. As you can see, I'm actually wearing the exact same outfit that I am in the picture, and we're all actually wearing what we perceive to be our authentic, general outfit, especially on social media. Now, this picture was seen by hundreds of my family and friends, so they were able to catch up on what I was doing and what I was experiencing. Social media overall is a fantastic invention. It connects us over race, culture, language, and it allows 2 people who, in previous generations, would not have even known of each other's existence to become the best of friends. But sometimes on social media, you don't always get the full picture. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, I want to start by going over a general summary of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to start with 5 wonderful speakers. They're going to go over how to integrate a brand on your social media. They're going to go over how to never stop listening to your followers. And then they're going to talk about how to stay true to yourself throughout the entire journey. They're going to talk about how to tell a truthful story and how to appreciate your followers or your audience. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for coming out, and I truly hope that you learned something. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Melissa, and she's going to talk about how to integrate a brand.
Hello, how is everyone doing tonight? That's awesome. So like Blake said, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to integrate a brand into your Instagram profiles. So I want to start off by asking you guys this question. How many of you know of a celebrity that at one point was a normal person just like us? Okay, so some of you, for those of you who don't, I have a few examples coming up. So as social media keeps growing and as more and more people are investing more time into it, I have found some celebrities and influencers that have created their own brands over time. I'm inspired by these individuals because they were not born into wealth. However, they have accrued millions of dollars by their own self-branding on social media. But before I go on, I want to tell you a short story about myself. So about a year ago, I started to really get into makeup, and maybe some of you girls in here have as well, I'm not sure, but I started browsing through Instagram and looking at some of the Instagram short video clips of how to do your own makeup, and I came across a person called Jeffree Star. How many of you guys have heard of Jeffree Star? Okay, so a few of you. So for the ones that haven't heard of him, he's the self-made influencer that at one point was just a normal person like us. He went to high school. He was actually very poor growing up, but he created his own brand through his social media persona by basically showcasing what he loves to do and just by doing makeup. So he now has his own cosmetics line called Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and he makes millions of dollars every single year. So I was instantly inspired by just his story and just by the fact that anyone nowadays can become someone or make a brand out of themselves just by marketing themselves on Instagram. So as most of you guys know, Instagram is one of the most used apps daily. Those of you who use it daily may have noticed that there are a million of brands out there, that there are millions of businesses out there, and people creating their own brands and just really making something out of their own personal interests. So with that, I just want to share with you 2 key marketing questions to ask yourself when trying to integrate a brand into your own profiles. The first question is, what are you going to sell and who are you going to sell it to? So those 2 key marketing questions translate onto the Instagram side as these questions. How are you going to market yourself on Instagram? And you can answer that by just finding out what you're good at, finding out your talents and your passions, and going after that and posting them on your profiles. And the second question translates to, who is your audience? Why do your followers follow your specific page instead of following other people? So once you have answered those two questions about yourself, you are on your way to integrating your own personal brand on Instagram. So now I want to show you guys some examples of people who have done this successfully over the years. So who here knows who this person is? Oh, if you guys can't see it, this is Cardi B, this first one. Who knows who she is? So most of you guys know who she is. So she is a classic example of self-marketing gone correct. I mean, she started off on Instagram uploading videos of herself talking about life, and she was a little dramatic and gained a lot of attention, but people liked that. People liked her authenticity and the way she showed herself and projected herself through Instagram. So that way, she gained a lot of followers on Instagram. She made a celebrity out of herself, and whether you like her or not, she is really good at marketing, because now she is a rapper, she was on television, and she has a lot of attention and money. So over to the far right, we have Daisy Marquez, and while she is still making her own brand on Instagram, she started out making short makeup tutorials on Instagram, and now she has over 1 million followers on there that she can target to and showcase her interest and showcase what she's good at. With that, she actually was able to launch her own makeup palette, and she launched it a few weeks ago, and it has been sold out ever since then. So you can see how through her talent, she went on Instagram, showcased it to the world, and now she's making a lot of money. And we're talking about someone who doesn't even have a college degree. So now with these two examples, I want to go over what we like about profiles and what we don't like about profiles. So what we like is a unique profile, because it makes you stand out from the rest of the world. It makes you look different. So for example, if you are a photographer and you like to take pictures of nature or just different pictures of things, what makes you stand out from all the million of other photographers out on social media? You have to be unique to stand out. Second, we like consistency, because it shows off your authenticity. If you are doing something daily, people can see that that's truly you, on or off Instagram. And third, we like new and creative ideas, because that makes your followers want to follow you and want to keep up with you on a daily basis. And again, for this, as you can see, I referenced Jeffree Star for this, because I feel like he has made a really good job just marketing himself on Instagram and showcasing his talents on there. So now we're going to go to what we don't like. We dislike random content. So as you can see here, this profile has a lot of different things going on. It doesn't have a lot of color. It doesn't have a lot of consistency or theme or alignment, and that's what you don't want to do. Second, you don't want to ignore your audience. Why? Because ignoring your audience is not going to make them want to come back to you. You're not showing anything creative or anything new, and they're just not going to even follow you in the first place. And lastly, we don't like creating inauthentic profiles. As you can see, this profile is named DMAV's Foundation, but they only have around 300 followers. If they were the true Max Foundation, they would have thousands, if not millions, of followers supporting them and following their page. So those are some of the things that we don't like. So with all of this, I want to encourage all of you guys to find your passions, find what you're good at, and go out there and show it off to the world. Because if someone like Cardi B can do it, then so can you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Melissa. So if you guys look now on the sheet that says group activity on it, you guys are going to get with your groups real quick and answer the question under the integrate brand heading. I'm going to give you guys about a minute to do that. and then I'll reel you back in, and we're gonna chat about it for a little bit. All right? Go ahead and get started.
Anybody have questions?
You guys understand what's going on?
Questions back here?
Understand the question?
We're just gonna go bring churros and you guys do.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and chat about that. So the question was, how can your team present in a way that authentically shows your brand? For example, or in other words, how is your theme authentic? Does anyone have any answers to that they want to share? Yep, go for it.
Our group says to have a topic that's interesting to you, that you have passion for it, because it comes off as fun, because it's like when you involve your personal experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I think bottom line is as long as you make sure that you're not being fake and you're not over embellishing, then you're going to be fine. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Tina, who's going to talk to you about how to never stop listening.
Thank you, Blake. Before we get to the second part of our acronym, I would like to share a little bit about myself and my Instagram account. When I joined Instagram a couple years ago, I was on there just to be nosy. I didn't really have any content to post. I didn't really have anything I wanted to share. I just wanted to get some insight on the lives of other people. And soon, I had followers of my own, though I had no content. Next thing I know, my audience was asking for content. My role was now reversed. I was no longer the audience, but now I was the presenter. I had to present good content for my audience. It was then that I decided to post a few pictures. As you can see, this is the sunset at White Rock Lake, a birthday celebration a couple years ago, and a camping trip in Oklahoma last summer. I was now able to listen to my audience and give them something that they can actually either like or unlike. Now let us look at why it is important for you to listen to your audience. A good example would be Pepsi. PepsiCo is the parent company for Frito-Lay. Frito-Lay is known for always asking their audience what flavor chips they would like. And what did Frito-Lay do? They actively listened to their audience and integrated some of those suggestions, and now we see some of the nice flavors that we requested on the shelves when we go to the store. Another example is Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is an artist who always listens to what her audience want to hear. She's able to incorporate her personal experiences into her music in order to better connect with her audience. Now let us look at some of the things you want to do so your audience will like listening to you. You want to use expressions. Expressions will help your audience relate to your message better. If you have a flat affect, then they really can't tell if you're happy or sad. You want to be able to use the right expressions in order to relay your message better to your audience. You want to listen to your audience. That's the second thing you want to do. A good example would be Nike. For the longest time, Muslim women could not participate in sports. Reason being, there was no athletic company that catered to their religious needs. Nike listened, Nike acted, and now Muslim women are able to partake in sports, and that is because Nike actively listened. Next thing you want to do is accept criticism. It's not easy to be told you didn't do this correctly, or that wasn't good, or this is an area you need to work on. But it's important for you as a presenter to listen to your audience when they give you positive or sometimes negative criticism, as it gives you an opportunity to improve. Now let us look at some of the things that would cause your audience to unlike your message. Showing a lack of respect. Now an example of a company that did this would be Dolce & Gabbana. They posted this as part of their marketing strategy, which said, "I am thin and gorgeous." Clearly that offended some of their audience. So these are some of the things you want to be careful when you put your messages out there. Next thing you want to do is next thing you don't want to do is neglect audience concerns. When the Muslim women spoke out and said nobody catered to their needs, Nike listened. Nike was able to deliver a product that enabled Muslim women to now participate in active sports. Lastly, exchange unpleasantly. No one wants to have an unpleasant exchange with their presenter. You want to set a tone that makes your audience comfortable enough to ask you questions and engage you in your presentation. And now that we have a good understanding of why you should always listen, I'll pass it off to Blake so he can walk us through our next activity.
All right, thank you so much, Sheena. Before you guys get started on that, I actually want to explain the point of these activities, right? Why are you doing it in the first place? The point of these activities, right, getting with your group and talking about it, is that so you can apply what you're learning today in a practical context to your training sessions, and in fact beyond into your professional and academic careers. And with that, guys, go ahead and get started on the second question under the Never Stop Listening heading. Now we'll be back in about a minute, and we're going to talk about it. All right, does anyone want to share with the class an answer that they came up with for that? Yeah, go for it.
We decided to set more deadlines and decided to hold our group members more accountable.
Okay, yeah, she said set deadlines and hold your group members more accountable. That's extremely important, okay? In the professional world, if you miss a deadline, that could lose your company money, that could get you fired, so that's extremely important. Bottom line, guys, as long as you listen to feedback and you adapt accordingly, you're going to become better as a presenter, you're going to become better as a student, and you're going to become better as a professional. With that, I'm going to pass it off to Jenny. She's going to talk about her topic.
Thank you, Blake. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. I will be talking about how to stay true to yourself on Instagram. So you've been hearing about the word authenticity all night, how to be authentic. So I'd like to ask you a question. What does authentic mean to you? Can I volunteer to answer that? Anyone?
Be yourself at all times, no matter who's around.
He said be yourself at all times. That's right. So the true definition of authenticity means the quality of being real and true. So there's so much on social media these days, and I'd like to talk about how I personally approach Instagram. So here are some posts from my Instagram profile. I'm not on there a lot, honestly, but when I am on, you'll usually see posts of me and my family, my husband, my kids, out trying a new restaurant. I am inspired by travel recently, so you'll see some of my travel posts. The second picture here is actually second and third pictures were taken on a trip I took last year to the Philippines. So you'll see posts like that about me. And a big foodie per se, so you'll often see, foodie posts that we all take pictures of our foods these days and post them online to share. So let me share a personal story. So when I first approached Instagram and social media in general, I was pretty apprehensive about getting on social media just because I felt like I'd be so exposed, I'd be judged, people making comments maybe that I wouldn't like. But soon I found that it was an important tool that I could actually use to stay connected to people around me, meet new people, and especially be connected to my family since all of my family live outside of Texas. So soon enough, I was on social media. So on my example, I've chosen a celebrity that probably most of us know, Chrissy Teigen. So I personally follow her. Aside from Chrissy being a fashion model, cook, and a writer, she's also wife to John Legend and mother to 2 children. As you can see in this first example post, you can see Chrissy is obviously picture perfect here, well-dressed, full-on makeup, hair done. You obviously can tell that this is probably from one of her professional photo shoots. On the second post that I have here on the right, you can see how Chrissy here is really just unfiltered per se. She's in her natural atmosphere. You don't see that she has makeup on. She has her child in one arm and then her pet giving her one of the sweetest kisses. And so even celebrities can be authentic on social media. So next, I'd like to talk about likes that will help you stay true to yourself. So first, you'll want to post real life experiences. This will help you feel connected to your audience and they will feel connected to your personal experiences. Next, you'll want to demonstrate authenticity by posting images from your everyday life, and don't be afraid to use raw or unfiltered images of yourself, as you saw in Chrissy Teigen's example. Lastly, you want to showcase your personal interests and your passions, such as causes you believe in, or perhaps topics of interest like fitness, travel, cooking, etc. It's really a great way for you to connect with your followers that have the same interests and passions that you do. It's a great forum for support and inspiration as well. However, sometimes people can really lose their authenticity and not realize how their social media presence reflects negatively. So next, I'll talk about some unlikes. First, fake your timeline. We probably have all seen those posts of people who go on to Instagram and appear as if they've traveled the world in a week. We all know that's not possible to do all that in a week. So you want to, for sure, make posts and stay true to your timeline as much as possible. Next, appear picture perfect 24/7. It's fine, obviously we all do it. We use filters and we try to get that best photo of ourselves on there, selfies or whatnot. But really, feel comfortable in your own skin. Feel free to, every once in a while, just post something that's natural of yourself. And then lastly, you don't want to give false impressions. You want to remember that you do have an audience, even though it's on social media, and followers do pay attention. And people will eventually realize and figure out whether you're being truthful or not. Instagram may remove you as a fake follower as well if you're not being real. So now, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Blake for our next question.
Thank you, Jenny. So guys, if you look at your group activity, you can now start on the third question with your groups, and then after about a minute, again, we're going to come back in and we're going to talk about it. All right, go ahead and get started. You guys understand what's going on? Get your feet. Any questions? All right, guys, let's go ahead and rein it in. Does anyone want to share what they came up with for that? Yeah, go for it.
So we're identifying our stuff with phones and personality traits, so we'll be able to relate with the audience and giving them.
Okay. Yeah, so she said they're going to use quotes and personality traits to convey their true selves to their audience. That's a great way to do it. You can also use personal stories, jokes, anything that makes your audience feel more comfortable with who you are as an actual person. All right? With that, I'm going to pass it off to Sarah. She's going to talk about how to tell a truthful story.
Thank you, Blake. Hi, everyone. So here is my Instagram. As you can see, I'm actually wearing the same outfit that I just made a post about. It was my roommate's birthday. The comment says partners in wine, and that's the second photo actually shows a photo of us drinking wine together. But I'm assuming most people here have an Instagram. Yes. So how many of you have heard of Glossier? It's a makeup brand made and created by Emily West. And I started buying Glossier actually because I saw it on a bunch of my favorite, Instagram famous followers. And I also started to post about it because I just simply love the brand. I actually use and love the products. So how many people have actually seen a post like this? Or maybe this one? So a lot of celebrities these days have started marketing for these big companies for fitness products, for healthy gummy bears that supposedly make your hair grow. This is a classic example of unauthentic social media marketing. So we've all seen of it, and unfortunately some of us have fallen for it too. So a lot of us have actually bought these products thinking that it'll do whatever magical thing that these celebrities are promoting it to be doing. But some people have started to call these celebrities out. Don't worry about actually reading this. Just to summarize, Jamila is another celebrity who is super invested in kind of calling out these celebrities for what they're doing. Is talking about how the reason Khloe Kardashian is looking as great as she claims that this fit tee is making her look is because she probably has trainers, a chef, a good doctor, a lot of people working on her to make her look this way. So a few reasons you should stick with authenticity on your Instagram, school presentations, and generally everything in life is one, to make personal connections. So a great example of this is actually Jeff Mandel. I've been following him for a couple years now, and back when I worked for Sugarfina, him and I actually connected, and I've commented on his Instagram posts, and we've direct messaged each other multiple times, and I ended up actually making a meet and greet for him when he was in Dallas because he remembered that I worked there for the company. So he's constantly getting to know his followers, which is a great way to make personal connections through social media. Another reason is you want to integrate the Trump factor. So an article on bizjournals.com states that regardless of what you think about his politics, personal life, part of Trump's appeal was his freewheeling, off-the-cut style, which was perceived as more authentic than the measured tones of Hillary Clinton. Kim Kardashian, for example, does a really good job of this. Not everyone loves her or approves of her posts, but you have to admit she's pretty authentic in everything she does. She got famous because of her sex appeal, and she's stuck with that regardless of what everyone thinks and comments about her. Lastly, stop self-correcting. This helps you to stop obsessing on the parts that people aren't going to like. Who cares if everyone doesn't like everything that you post or say? As long as it's true to you and your brand, that's all that matters in the end. A few things that will happen if you're unauthentic on Instagram is that you'll lose credibility as a person. No one will want to listen to you if you continue to steer them wrong. It will also eventually create a false brand that people won't believe in. Ultimately, in the end, you'll set a negative example for others, which in the case of social media will affect a large majority of our younger generation. Now I'm going to hand it back to Blake, who's going to walk you guys through our activity.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Now for this particular question, I'm gonna walk you guys through it because I think sometimes the Trump factor can get a little bit lost in translation, all right? So basically the question under Tell a Truthful Story is, how can you use the Trump factor in your training session? And the way I would say that you can do that is to A, speak with conviction, and B, believe what you're saying. If you believe what you're saying, then you're going to sound more authentic, and you're going to make more of an impact on your audience. All right? So think about and brainstorm how you're going to use that in your training session as we wrap up the rest of the presentation. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Sarah, who's going to talk about how to appreciate your followers.
Thank you, Blake. So, welcome guys. I am the last part of our INSTA acronym. I'd like to start by telling you a personal story. It's kind of embarrassing, so just don't judge me. I fell for a pyramid scheme, guys. It happens. We've all seen them. We've all been there. I fell for it. In 2017, I joined Beachbody to be a fitness coach. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of Beachbody. And they promote on social media about joining their team and drinking these shakes and stuff. And you'll get fit, you'll be in a group, you'll be supported, all like that. So I joined that. I was like, man, this is gonna be awesome. I will love this, I'll get in shape, I'll become popular in social media, I'll be so cool. Well, I was trying way too hard. I posted the most inauthentic posts ever to just try and sell myself. I oversold myself because I was not authentic in any way. I would say the craziest stuff that was not true. I did not do any of those workouts. I never drank the shakes. I did not believe in the company. I was not authentic, and everyone knew it. You could see right through my lies on social media. So I was inauthentic in presenting myself, and I was unable to sell the product because of that. So now, turn to 2019, my social media is a lot more bland, I would say. It's just everyday life that makes me happy, which is my dog and my boyfriend. I'm currently in this post. It says my timeline is my dog and my boyfriend, so I decided to show my face around here. Hashtag my dog is cuter. Here's a photo of him so you guys can agree. So let's go over some celebrity examples. Does everyone know Justin Timberlake? I'm sure you do. He was just in concert recently. He's one of my favorite artists ever. He always posts about goofy things and his family and how wonderful his wife is. And then in the end, he also promotes his tour, he promotes his music, stuff like that. So he's very authentic and open with his audience. J-Lo is another good example. She also posts the most authentic posts ever. She's very true and open and honest. She'll show you workouts, she'll show you her kids, she'll show her routine, her love life, all of that. And she's very authentic whenever she posts. And then I also follow Carlos Pena. He's married to Alexa Vega, that's who's in this photo. She played Carmen in Spy Kids. I'm sure a lot of you guys will recognize her now. Well, he posts all the time about his wife and their struggles of going through to try and get pregnant. And he's very authentic and honest throughout his whole social media and appearance online. So now let's go over the likes involved with appreciating your followers. So a couple things to think about is practice what you preach. I know we've heard it multiple times in this class, but it's really true. We're trying to implement it into you. Always practice what you preach. And like, for me, example, in my personal story, I did not practice what I preached. And so I could not be authentic. I could not promote things because I didn't practice what I preached. Next is to verify your accounts. Most of you know that artists or anybody famous, you have to verify your account on Instagram, Twitter, all of that, with a blue check mark. So just like Justin Timberlake up here, he's got a blue check mark by his name. That way you can verify that you're following the correct people and you're not giving off a false persona online, so that your followers always know that you are that generic person. You are authentically Justin Timberlake. The next thing is to meet people in real life. On the topic of Justin Timberlake, he often does meet and greets. Meeting people in real life makes you appear more authentic and gives off a personal connection to where your audience and your followers can connect to you better. So always meet people in real life. So let's go over some unlikes. First, you don't want to purchase followers. Did you know there's actually a website where you can purchase followers? Did not know this, but I found this while I was doing some research. You can go on this website, put in your information and you can purchase for hundreds